How's it going, everyone? Doc here with Eyes Wide Shot Gaming, and in today's video we'll be going over a fast charging, fast hitting Meridian build. Stick around. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date on all of your Remnant 2 news, info, builds, and breakdowns, as well as many other games. We are so close on our endeavor to 1,000 subscribers. Why not join us today on this journey? So before we buckle down and dive into this build breakdown, I once again want to point out that I do have 94 trade points instead of 85, and this is due to a glitch that I, as well as many others, have had a week or so after the game released. This is all recorded on Xbox, and the extra trade points don't impact this or any other build I make at all. Now that we have that out of the way, let's dive into this build. Our primary archetype we start with is Hunter, mostly focusing on its prime perk Dead to Rights, which gives us an extension to the duration of our skill when we do ranged or melee weak spot damage, as well as the damage perk Deadeye, which increases our range damage by 40%, weak spot damage by 15%, and ranged critical chance by 5%. Aside from all the damage bonuses, we also want to focus reload speed, so the utility perk Urgency increases our reload speed by 15% after a kill for 5 seconds. The skill we are using with this archetype is Hunter's Mark. This will mark all the enemies in a 35-meter radius and increase our range damage by 15%. Mark also increases our crit chance against marked enemies by 10%. For our secondary archetype, we went with Gunslinger. We love the damage perk Swift Shot because it not only buffs up our damage by 25% as well as critical chance by 5%, but also gives us a rather large increase to fire rate by 15%. Aside from that, we also once again have an increase to reload speed by 10% from Quick Hands, the utility perk, and this is doubled if our magazine is empty, which it will always be when we reload. The skill equipped with this archetype is Bulletstorm. This does increase our fire rate by 20%, but aside from that, we once again increase our reload speed by 50%. The skill will last for about 26 seconds. Now that we have the archetypes and skills out of the way, let's get into our trinkets and see what we can accomplish with them. Starting out with our amulet, we use Worn Dog Tags, a new amulet from the Forgotten Kingdom DLC. This will increase our fire rate by 15%, as well as our reload speed by the same amount. But most importantly, it will decrease our weapon's charge time by 15%. For our first ring, we use Archer's Crest. This ring's main use is the decrease to weapon charge time by 25%, not that we don't enjoy the projectile speed increase by 20%. Our second ring is Blasting Cap Ring. This ring increases explosive damage by 15%, and since every shot we let out is explosive, this is a no-brainer. For our third ring, we are using Feathery Binding. Again, an increase to projectile speed by 15%, but also a decrease to weapon charge time by 10%. Now this bonus is doubled when we have Haste active, so this is where our fourth ring comes into play. We are using Anastasia's Inspiration. This will allow us to gain haste for 10 seconds when receiving healing effects. Since we will be using the Regrowth trait, haste will be permanently active on our character, doubling our Feathery Binding effects from 10% decrease in weapon charge time to 20%. Now let's get into the weapons. Our secondary weapon and the main weapon we are working around is the Corrupted Meridian. This handgun fires rockets that deal AoE damage within 3 meters, and charging this weapon can load additional rockets up to 3 at a time. With it, the mod that comes on this gun, Deadpoint, which fires a cluster bomb that detonates on impact across 2.5 meters. And each cluster deals 187 damage per explosion in a 5.25 meter radius. The mutator we equip is Extender, not just to convert our weapon from 6 in a mag to 9, but also for the level 10 perk that increases our reload speed by another 20%. For the melee weapon, we chose World's Edge, but you can choose whichever one you want. And for our primary weapon, we went with the Monolith Long Gun, mostly for its mod Sandstorm that does a solid amount of damage in a 7.5 meter radius and applies exposed on enemies, allowing us to dish out an additional 15% more damage. The mutator we have on our monolith is Spellweaver. This is mostly to help us generate our mod quicker as well as get our skills back quicker when using said mod. For the relic heart, we went with Bloodless Heart, mostly for the shield that prevents damage for 3 seconds, so when we get bum rushed, we can still unload our explosive shots without taking damage ourselves. On it, the relics we run are skill cooldown, mod damage, and range damage. On the right hand side, you can see our traits. Main focus should be on regrowth, gifted, and expertise. Now that we have our build, let's see what kind of damage we can do per enemy. So as you can see, we pop our Hunter's Mark, fire off Sandstorm, swap to our Meridian, unleash Bulletstorm, and go to town. We average around 1500 damage per enemy, and overall have a great fireworks show. I hope this build helps everyone in some way, and if you have a way to improve this build, don't hesitate to comment down below how. And as always, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and until next time, so long.